this year.
Exactly.
You get one.
That grant that we got, dude, it was just
As long as we complete it,
It's like 80%.
there's a miracle. Should be in a year.
exactly.
In a
No, and
year.
then we're gonna hit the circle behind La Covacha, but the thing is, there's no.
What's the status?
There's just so many moving parts up there. Plus, it doesn't have the gravity or whatever. It requires pumps. So who would know better than? Really?
That's what I
Hey.
want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you a little bit about the master plan. We're pretty much done, and I have a couple options that I want to sit down with.
Well, I think, but still, since they got to do so much stuff there, 4 different property owners have to work so much stuff. So, a fifth party is, third or fourth party is coming in with a whole staff. There's so much crap going on there that that's going to be a project of its own because it's not only going to be drainage, it's not only for, for appropriations for that. I'm going to describe it as general.
Dude, if you did some before and after of what we did on that segment of 108.
Already. But what I'm getting at is that by this circle, it's not only going to be a drainage project, but we're going to have to get beautification, exactly, streetscape, exactly. I'm going to use very broad language because it's a cluster up there. You know what I'm saying?
So I've been tweaking the models and everything, and at least not now. So what I'm doing is like a supervising, because the county is designing that pond right now for 2060 elevation. 2060, we're gonna be dead. They're designing for.
I think multi-lines.
I mean, I'll be 80. Yeah, maybe. I'll still be 100. They're designing for.
Oh, you gotta do
2 feet
5.
of sea level. So their nothing is
I can do 7.
think to a level that we can. I mean, we can't design to that.
Okay.
It's really.
Yeah, because my impression was that the lower parts of 108 have better gravity.
Actually,
Esa parte is flat.
That's why.
Right now, the elevations are not bad. It should be, the road on average, is raised like we did on this segment of 108, we raised it about 6 inches.
Yeah.
So we raised it a little bit, the French drain, with an outfall to the canal, gravity, and it will work. At least for the next 20, 30 years, depending on how sea level is. The issue is 1/10 is the bigger issue.
Yes.
So 1/10, the options are either you pump,
Okay, I think elevator would be nice.
We're good.
We're good? Yeah, I think it's a nice direction.
Yeah, you see those over there too.
I was thinking more angle.
That roundabout is weird because not everybody can go through one side.
Ray, Isidro, somewhere.
Isidro's in the office back there.
Well, we can start with our Isidro.
That area is a lot of potential. Frank, Frank Alonso is our something engineer, basically. And he designed
No. No, but you already got it, right? No, I haven't got it.
He's too young.
No, pero me lo dan by the fire department.
Ya lo tengo aquí. Ya lo tengo aquí.
Okay, good. Saludos.
Don't worry.
Saludos. 8 and 12, yeah.
Yeah, I have it here. I have it here. Don't worry, everything's okay.
All right. We got you, right?
Okay.
No, this month I my liver. Ripped my.
Yo no sé por qué. Hello?
I've been exercising since I told my liver.
Sir.
Commissioners, we're almost ready. Wait. Only 1 minute left.
Good afternoon. It'll be fine. Good. What time is it? Oh, I doesn't see my phone, brother.
4:59.
It's gonna be okay.
Agenda. Did you have your agenda there?
Okay, both phones are outside.
Right here.
Keep it simple. Plain, simple, ready to go.
Where's the messed up?
What?
Where's the messed up?
What do you mean? Not that monkey, no.
Yeah. See the other guy.
5 o'clock.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Special commission meeting. Meeting day, Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021 at 5 p.m. Commission Chambers, 500 Southwest 109 Avenue. Roll call, Madam
Clerk
Clerk.
will note the absence of Mayor Lopez, Commissioners Jonel Diaz, and Commissioner Villanueva.
Please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear God, we come to you this hour asking for your blessing and help as we are gathered here today together. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand and ask that you would clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us the desire to find ways to excel in our work. Amen.
Boy.
I'm going to change all the seating. Public comments?
None.
None? Okay. I want to move number 8 and 12 to the beginning of the agenda. And 5,
I'm sorry, which one was that again? 8?
8 and 12 are going to be the first ones. And then I'm going to move 5, 7, 14, and 15, following the 8 and 9. I am 8 and 12, I'm sorry. Okay? So a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, authorizing the mayor to accept and execute a proposal from T. Wyland International for the design of drainage and related improvement in the area along Northwest 108th Avenue between Northwest 17th Street and Northwest 21st Street, and provided for an effective date. Mayor Lopez, Assistant City Manager, and City Engineer. Yes.
On behalf of the administration, I'm very pleased to announce that the city has been awarded $1.5 million to continue drainage and roadway improvements on 108th Avenue. And to do so, we have to go ahead and finalize the design of that by an engineering firm. And that's why we're bringing this proposal forward. I have the firm here with us.
This,
Yeah.
to the chair?
Yes.
Herrera, this is the project on 108 and 17, correct?
Correct.
And there's a
17
construction.
to 21st.
Right, there's a construction going on right now on the street right now, correct?
From 14 to 17.
To 14 to 17.
This would be to continue from 17 to 21.
Okay, so that job hasn't finished yet, correct?
No.
So you guys gonna start the other side?
No, we have to design it first. That's what
Okay,
this is gonna do.
just to approve to the design and other stuff?
Correct. Oh,
Okay.
it's already
So
been
there's not gonna be
preliminarily
extra-
designed in the master plan, but we have to do the hardcore design and some surveying.
Okay, this is just to approve the design and,
Correct.
coming from the other side.
Correct. Then we bid it out once the design is complete.
Okay, now that we're on this same, page right now, is that still going on? When are they gonna finish with that job?
By the end of April is the...
This
is-
year?
Yes, is the hopeful date. Yeah.
That's the drainage, correct?
Correct. Drainage and Northwest 14 Terrace.
Okay, I will move this item.
I'll second it.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Saul Diaz and seconded by Commissioner Jose Martin. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
No,
That
no,
was me.
Commissioner
Oh,
Reynaldo
you-
Ray.
Reynaldo Ray. Oh, I heard it from over there. I'm sorry, Ray. Okay, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Saul Diaz,
Yes.
Commissioner Reese,
Yes.
President Halton Alonso.
Yes.
Okay, it passes.
Okay, number 12, a resolution of the Sweetwater City Commission authorizing the city to extend an agreement for construction observation services for drainage and roadway improvements and provided for an effective date. Mayor Lopez, Assistant City Manager and City Engineer. Go ahead.
Okay, this is the construction that Commissioner Diaz was asking about. In addition to the drainage improvements that we're doing on 108th Avenue, we're also building out a road on Northwest 14 Terrace.
Right.
So to have that overseen, as you all probably know, that you have the construction team, but then we have another team who literally follows them around all day, the construction engineering services. We need to extend that so that they can oversee the 14 Terrace extension. And there have been some slight delays on the 108th project due to COVID and all these unforeseen circumstances. Anyhow, we need to have this construction engineering service throughout the end of April. That's what this contemplates.
Move it.
Second. A motion by Commissioner Jose Marti, second by Commissioner Saul Diaz. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Saul Diaz.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
President Holt Alonso.
Yes.
It passes.
Okay, we're gonna to number 7. A resolution of Sweetwater City Commission authorizing the expenditure for the purchase of general ammunition for the police department and providing for an effective date. Mayor Lopez and Chief of Police.
As you all know, we're going through some trying times with regards to ammunition as a whole nationwide, and this is just, we need the ammunition to keep our officers qualified, and the price just keeps going up. So we need your support in acquiring the ammunition.
Right, to Chair.
Yes.
Chief, where did the money come from?
This is coming from reserves.
Did we did any specific item for when we did budgeting for that? You guys
Yes.
did anything?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did, and we did purchase ammunition with those monies. However, this is a projection that I made going out 2.5 years, maybe 3, because I don't see the price of ammunition going down, and I see the
Right.
scarcity of it going up. So we need to keep our officers qualified by state standards, and this is just me looking forward and making sure that we are prepared for the next 2 years, in the least.
So this is also going to be qualifying and also
Duty ammo, both.
for both, and this is part of the agreement with the PBA.
Well, the state mandate requires you to qualify.
Okay, and
Yeah.
it's $20,000.
Correct.
And that's gonna, to the chair?
Yes.
Chief, that's gonna cover 3 years, right? That's gonna
Roughly 3 years, that's my estimate. Roughly 3 years.
All right, I will move this item.
Second.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Saul Diaz, second by Commissioner Jose Marti. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Commissioner Saul Diaz.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
President Holt Alonso.
Yes.
It passes.
Yes. Now we're gonna go to 14, a resolution of the Sweetwater City Commission authorizing the expenditure for the purchase and uplift of 2 2021 Ford Interceptors patrol vehicles for the police department and necessary police upgrade of equipment and provide for an effective date. Mayor Lopez and Chief of Police.
These are 2 additional police vehicles that hopefully will finish bringing our entire police fleet to the 21st century. This is coming from police impact fees. It doesn't have any fiscal impact on the city budget.
Okay.
All right, I move it.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's moved by.
I'm sorry, to the chair.
Yes.
I'm gonna pull my
What?
motion because I believe Commissioner Diaz have a question.
No, go ahead. All right, he already answered my question,
Okay, I'll go ahead with
where
my
the money
motion
was
then.
coming from, and it's already there. Thank you.
Okay, it was moved by Commissioner Isidro Ruiz and second by Commissioner
Ray.
Reynaldo Rey. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Reese,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Saul Diaz.
Yes.
President Holt Alonso.
Yes.
It passes.
Okay, 15, a resolution of Sweetwater City Commission authorizing the expenditure for the purchase and uplift of a 2021 Ford F-250 pickup truck, commercial vehicle enforcement for the police department and necessary police upgrade of equipment, and providing for an effective date. Mayor Lopez, Chief of Police.
Again, this is a forward-thinking, thinking towards annexation and commercial vehicle enforcement and the issues that we do have currently and expect in the future. These monies are coming from transportation impact fees, so it should have no fiscal impact to the budget.
And we do have the money there, right?
Yes, I conferred with the mayor and with the administration, and the money is there.
Okay.
Also, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
Chief, what are these? What are they going to use these trucks for?
Basically, heavy commercial vehicles, dump trucks, semis, and alike.
So it's going to be something like DOT?
It's a DOT program, and there will be special training involved that we have to send one of our officers to in Tallahassee to receive that training. It's a very, very unique training.
Okay, good job. We're going to have all that area right there, I think, by the time.
Yeah,
with
and,
new-
and
with
again,
new,
it's forward
asphalt.
thinking because we do have issues already with commercial vehicles. They're tearing up our streets. We need to have some teeth into this, and this is what's going to give us the teeth.
Good job. I will move this item.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Saul
I'll
Diaz.
second it.
Second by Commissioner Reynaldo Rey. Could roll call, Madam Clerk?
Yes. Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Saul Diaz.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese,
Yes.
President Holt Alonso.
Yes.
Item
Okay,
passes.
item passes. Okay, now we go to number 5, the ordinance of the City of Sweetwater promoting the public health, safety, and general welfare on the street, roadways, and highways of the city by regulating the wheel and axle loads and gross vehicle weight of certain vehicles, providing for the assessment of fees and providing for penalties, providing for appeal for the violation of the chapter, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. First reading, Mayor Lopez.
This plays off what I believe Commissioner Diaz had asked Chief Diaz about a moment ago as to what the Ford F-250 would be used for. It would be used precisely for this. The idea of the F-250 is to provide the machine, the equipment, and then the ordinance provides the legal mechanism by which we can begin to enforce restrictions against heavy trucks in the on the north side. As the chief alluded to, some of these trucks are essentially they're overweighted or they're not up to code and they're destroying the streets up there. And this gives us legal mechanisms to stop them if we believe that they are in violation of the state statutes, to weigh them, to inspect them, and to essentially handle all the enforcement powers that DOT also has. And I believe actually the DOT police are now dovetailed into FHP, but it's essentially the same enforcement powers. This will give us the same enforcement powers, and the truck is the equipment to do that.
Yeah. Very good ordinance. I like
Thank you.
it.
Okay, I would move this item.
Moved by Commissioner Saul Diaz, second by Commissioner Jose Martin. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Saul Diaz.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
President Holt Alonso.
Yes.
Motion passes on first reading.
Okay, number 6, a resolution of City of Sweetwater City Commission authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute a contract with Access Loan LLC for services related to payroll deductible loans to city employees and providing for an effective date. Mayor Lopez.
The city already has a program very similar to this, actually identical to this, and for all practical purposes with another company called BMG, I believe. And it's had this program for about 10 years. I actually, when I was city attorney, I wrote the ordinance that brought them into the city at that point. And the purpose of this program is to provide short-term loans to city employees. They may need a loan for 6 months or whatever, or 3 months, or a year. And if they don't have access to credit cards, or the credit cards are maxed out at that point, they would be able to apply to these companies. What makes it interesting for these companies is that the repayment is deducted straight out of the employee's check and remitted directly to the companies. So they are ensured that as long as the individual is working here, that those payments are in fact going to be made. The day the individual leaves city service, the city is not on the hook for this. At that point, they have to settle up with the individual directly without any input from the city. There is effectively no cost to this, to the city, other than the slight labor cost involved in entering the information. But our systems are all automated now anyway, so the payments will be relatively automatically made. The idea of bringing in a second company is that a second company provides competition and will have at least 2 foreseeable effects. An employee who, for whatever reason, may not be viewed as credit worthy by one lender might be viewed as credit worthy by the other. So it enables that individual to possibly obtain a loan where otherwise they may not have been able to obtain a loan. The second issue, or second benefit, is that for individuals who are viewed equally credit worthy by both, they might be able to obtain lower interest rates or more favorable repayment terms from the companies because there's more competition at that point. And again, this is a benefit to the employees. The city derives no other benefit from it, and the city incurs no other obligation or other cost. It's simply a benefit to the employee, and having an extra company on the books doing this can't hurt.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Through the chair.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, who? Yeah, Commissioner.
Commissioner Marti, please.
Do we have a representative here from this
I
group?
believe we do. Would you like to come up and speak?
Yeah, please. Can you tell us what the cost is to the employee? What is the rate that you charge them for these loans?
Sure, thank you. Good evening. First of all, my name is Rick Rodriguez Pena, Madam President, the Commissioners. I'll give you an example. The actual rate is 23.99%.
I'm sorry?
23.99 is the actual term, but it's not compounded interest. So on the surface, that appears like a very large number. By the way, most lending credit card companies that you have an established history will charge about 25% on the payroll on an advance. This is not compounded interest, so on $1,000 you'll be paying $140. That's because you'll be deducing the $1,000. You make a payment and it diminishes the amount, so it ends up costing you for $1,000 $140. So it's not compounded interest. That's really the main point to your question, I think, Mr. Commissioner.
Oh, that's really high. And I have a question for the city attorney. Their contract says it's applicable, that this agreement is basically based out of Delaware. What does that mean for us? If our employees have an issue, does that mean they have to go to Delaware to argue an issue?
Yeah, if it's a jurisdiction provision on the contract, let me take a look at it while I speak with you.
It's on page 3 of 3.
But if if the provision if it says Delaware, then that means that they can bring the action in Delaware. I will tell you this, though, that there are statutes and consumer transactions preventing that. That might be the provision between us and the city. Let me look at it. Let me get back to you on that. Let me look at it, and give me 1 second.
This is really high in my opinion. I don't know that we're really doing our employees a favor with this. I understand what you're saying if their credit cards are maxed out, but 24% is a big number for our employees that don't really make a lot, and we're in essence pushing them into a service that the city is in essence endorsing for them to pull it's almost like another credit. It's like another credit line or another credit.
It is. The situation is this. Well, first off, if I can address that one issue, this is governing law. It's not venue.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm not even looking at the contract. That's why I said let me look at the contract.
It's paragraph 15. I don't know if there's a venue provision in the contract that's otherwise, but this is governing law. So the issue is this. I do understand exactly what you're saying. There are two aspects to that I can see. First off, no one's actually pushing the employees to do anything. This is available to them, and it's arguably a better situation than going to a payday lender. And number two, this, with all due respect to the company, this is not a program for people who are very credit worthy. I seriously doubt that I would, for example, apply for that. However, this is a program for employees, and we do have them, who may be rebuilding their credit, may have come out of a very bad divorce, may have come out of bankruptcy just recently for whatever reason. And all of a sudden they have a leak on the roof, or their 10-year-old car needs a new engine or a new alternator, and they don't have credit cards because they're just out of bankruptcy. What are they going to do? The only secured means of payment that they have is their paycheck, which is how we get to this situation, which is what makes it more appealing to the company. Again, I'm just giving you the perspective that the employees themselves have told me, the ones who've used BMG, the competitor. For some of them, it's been a life-saving sort of situation. Well, I don't mean to exaggerate, but it's been a godsend for them, essentially. For the ones who are credit-worthy, they wouldn't be availing themselves of that situation.
Sir, would you accept a better rate? Would you accept a lesser rate?
It wouldn't work, Commissioner. In all due respect, the fact that this is a line of credit that is strictly between the employee and the company. it's unsecured. So, and like I said, you focused on the 23.9%. I want to be clear. It's not compounded interest. So it's not an accurate representation to tell you that it's 23.99% because it's not compounded interest. That's typically how, when you borrow money from your credit card, is month on top of month on top of month. This is a diminishing number.
So is it safe to say that this is 23.99 divided by 12, so there's a monthly rate that you're applying?
Just to simplify it for you, sir, on $1,000 to $140, plain and simple. There is no hidden fees, there's no cost. The benefit to these employees, I think, as your city attorney said, if you're not bankable, if you can't find money anywhere else, this is an alternative to go into a payday lender or a pawn shop. And there, the fees are exorbitant, in the 200 to 300%. This is not a solution. This is not a panacea. This is a voluntary choice. And there are people, unfortunately, that find themselves in a need to have access to cash in an immediate basis. The criteria for them to lend, to borrow, if you've been employed 1 year and you're not in bankruptcy, that's it.
So,
That's
I mean, I understand. I just feel that it feels to me like you're getting low-lying fruit and we're helping you. And what I mean by low-lying fruit is you're getting our employees and the city is supporting your program. So as long as they're employed with us, you get paid because it's a payroll deduct.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as they stay employed with us, you're going to get paid. They're not going to default.
Commissioner, I understand your perspective. You currently have had in place a similar program.
I understand. I'm just that guy. I'm that guy that's going to fight for my peeps. And I get that we may not be the richest city, but to me, a 23.99 is over the top. And and I don't know. I think if you said to me, hey, I could do it for 18%, maybe come back something a little more competitive for our folks. I could jump on board with that. I get the value of what you're doing.
Right.
For me, it just feels like 23.99 is very over the top.
Yeah. Commissioner, I respect your perspective. 23.9% is the business model that works. You're going to have people that are going to default. We factored in the loss ratio. And that's why, and then the competitor that's already doing this is doing exactly the same thing. It doesn't make it right, doesn't make it better. I'm just giving you some context. So the business model would not work, and that's why it's not compounded interest. I'll leave you with this thought, Commissioner, for you to contemplate. If you were to borrow money from your credit card in your pocket today, I can assure you it is in excess of 20 to possibly 25% with an established credit history. And they know how much you spend, they know how much money you make. So you think from some company like that has an established relationship, here's a company that's going to say, we don't know who you are. As long as you're not in bankruptcy today, we'll let you borrow between $25,000 and $5,000, and you can pay that over 2 years.
But that's not really an accurate statement. You know who they are because they're city employees.
Yeah, but we don't know the credit history. We know that
So
they could leave tomorrow.
You don't pull their credit to issue the loan?
No, sir.
Nothing at all. They just are.
They apply. As a matter of fact, we advance. If you have poor credit, we would actually report and help them increase their credit rating. These are people that are not bankable. In some cases, these are people that can't go to a cousin, can't borrow money from a neighbor, don't have credit cards, and can't get money anywhere, and your transmission break. And that's why this is not a solution for everybody, and it's for a group of people. How I view, and I couldn't look at you in the eye if I didn't believe in this, the alternative is if you don't give them a choice, they're going to go to a payday lender. And then we're talking at a 200 to 300%.
I understand that's even worse.
Yeah, so that's all it is. It's not a panacea. This is not a solution. I respect, your perspective, and I admire the fact that you're fighting. I couldn't look at you in the eye if I didn't think this was an option for a group or segment of your population that otherwise wouldn't have a choice to access to loans.
Thank you.
Commissioner Murthy, if I may just answer your question. So going back, the Delaware section, that's governing law, just like Mr. Ventura mentioned. The agreement is between the city. This agreement attached is between the city and the paid or the lender. So that's if there's not for the individuals who don't pay that, it would be a Delaware choice of law or anything like that. That's if there's an issue or dispute between the city and the lender, they would apply Delaware law instead of Florida law.
But that would be applied. Is there a venue provision?
No, there's no.
Okay.
There isn't a venue
so
provision.
That would be applied in a Florida court.
Correct.
So the Florida judge would sit as if that court were held in Delaware. They would apply Delaware law.
Correct.
That's actually. It might seem counterintuitive, but I think the city attorney will confirm my view that that is standard. I
Yeah.
mean, I've negotiated hundreds of
that
contracts where we
Yeah,
choose.
I've litigated
Yeah.
actually where we've litigated, Delaware law as
Yeah.
opposed to the two Florida attorneys
Yeah.
and a Florida judge
Yeah.
dealing with Delaware
And
law.
in fact, the whole there's a body of law called choice of law, choice of form and choice of law, and people are free to contract and say we're going to apply the law of Kuwait if that's what they want to do. They're free to do so. I do have one unforeseen issue here, or one unforeseen development. Alan has just asked to speak on this matter because of the impact that it has had on his employees. Again, he told me fairly much what he was going to say, but I had not asked him to do so. He's asked to come up here voluntarily and give his view of the impact that the BMG program has had on his employees. Alan?
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Alan. I'm the Public Works Director. And Commissioner Marti specifically, because you seem to have more of an objection than the rest of them, I want to give you a kind of a clearer picture of what this kind of service provides our employees, because many of my employees have had to use this service before. Very simply, if this service didn't exist, where do you suggest that they go? Where they would get a better rate with no credit history, or poor credit history, and no background check in order to get a loan. I've had employees that have had death in the family and needed burial money and have resorted to this kind of service, of a loan, and it's been a godsend for them. So to take away a company that's going to provide competition to the one and only company that exists in the city right now would be a disservice to our employees. My opinion.
So you're misinterpreting my intentions. My intention is not to take away or limit my, clearly I think that 23.99 is very expensive. I understand we have another vendor, and I'm not going to interfere. I'd like to have another vendor so we can have some competition, and maybe between the two of them, they can fight it out and maybe get down to 18 or something that's reasonable. I understand, and I'm not going to stand in the way
Thank you.
of it, but I just think we could probably do better.
I think it's unrealistic to have anybody grant a loan, an unsecured loan for anything less. It doesn't exist on the market.
I get it. It's just that we have a captive audience, and we're providing a captive audience. And there's clearly conditions to have our captive audience.
The risk still exists for the company that's the lender. I mean, the employee could quit tomorrow.
So it sounds like I'm advocating for the employees more than you are.
I'm advocating for the service because I know that it's something
Okay.
that they need.
Maybe we
You
need
know.
to educate our folks and help them so that they're not in these predicaments.
If there was somebody else to
I
resort
mean, I see a
to-
lot of nods from him. We need to educate our folks and help them so that we're not in this predicament where they're forced to go to a 23.99 rate. I'm going to support it. I'm not happy with it, but I'm going to support it. And with that, I yield.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner,
Appreciate it.
Yes, Commissioner.
I have a couple of questions for Mr. Ventura. Are we currently under contract with the other lender?
I haven't looked at that. We do provide the service. I don't know if the contract had a sunset date,
All right.
and we just have continued honoring it.
So in order,
I suspect that it doesn't.
Sorry.
I suspect that it's simply on terminable at will, and that it just continues until one of the parties terminates it. But they are still here providing a service to the city.
so in order to execute this resolution, we need to wait till the contract ends or not?
No, because the idea would be that you would have
Excuse
competition.
Right.
And again, as I said, leaving the interest rate issue aside, perhaps there will be one reason why we have, Jose Perez, who BMG turned down for whatever reason. They could then go to Access. They could then go to Access and apply there, or they could apply to Access first. Perhaps the BMG application portal is down that day, and they need the money like right away. So this provides two different options. The way that it will be handled administratively
All right.
is that the individuals will go to HR, inquire about the program, and they'll be given the contacts, and then they're on their own. The HR will not get involved in steering them one way or the other. That we frankly don't want any aspects of that because it's not our responsibility.
Going back to the
given-
interest rate, I'm sorry to interrupt you, go ahead.
But it would be the responsibility of the employee at that point to decide which one of the two was in his better interest.
All right, the current interest rate, I can see it right here in the agenda right now.
The current interest rate was how much?
No, that's
23
what he's offering.
Yes.
The interest rate of the company that we have right now.
Oh, I don't know, but it's
Oh, it's the same?
23.9.
I was gonna ask that.
It is the same.
Yeah.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Yeah, hold on, I
Yeah,
got a question.
yeah, I'm sorry, without a you. Thank you.
Okay, I just got something to say. Competition, and I move this item, I like competition, I like this item. Let's move forward and I move this item, go ahead. Do I hear a
Moved by Commissioner Saul Diaz. Do I hear a second?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Isidro Ruiz. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Commissioner Saul Diaz?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Rain?
Yes.
President Holt Alonso?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And Commissioner, if I can, Commissioner, thank you very much. I want to say that there is a literacy education component to our program. You talked about educating people. That is embedded in our program. And that's how we educate people to make sure that they don't fall. So I just want to mention that to you. I understand the need for that, and that is part of the company, of who we are, that provides that financial literacy and education. So thank you.
Thank you. I would hope that you would maybe come back and schedule some sessions with the staff so that we can get our folks, headed in the right direction.
And again, I'm very appreciative, and should you have any questions, I welcome the challenge, the opportunity to share what we know and why we believe is a benefit. So thank you,
You're welcome.
Madam President.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, just to note on that agreement, and I'm sorry, through
Yeah,
the
go
chair,
ahead.
Madam President, it does have a provision where we can terminate the contracts with 30 days notice. So if for whatever reason we're not happy with the service, this is not like a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year deal. 30 days notice, we can terminate.
And that doesn't apply to the current
That's
company,
That has-
lender that we use.
That has nothing to do with the existing contract that
has
we have.
nothing to do
Right.
with it, okay.
And if you noticed also that this agreement is non-exclusive, which means we can have multiple vendors performing the same service.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, number 9. An ordinance of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 54, Article 3, Section 54-81 to include penalties for the deposit of hazardous material in industrial waste and to provide for an effective day of ordinance and an effective day for the approved amendment. First reading, Mayor Lopez.
This ordinance is designed to specifically make the dumping of hazardous waste actionable by the city, so we can fine people for it. And it contemplates two areas essentially. It contemplates the north side, where you have some heavy industry up there, and where people may be inclined to dump waste on their own property or to dump waste in public areas. And it also contemplates the dumping of waste on the south side, on the swales and the bulk pickup area, and also in private property. And the idea is essentially that toxic waste is of a higher category of wrong than simply dumping, for example, furniture or construction discards.
Don't we have an ordinance right now on that?
We have an ordinance that makes dumping unlawful, and then this amends that ordinance.
This
by
amends that?
Yeah, by
Oh.
adding the toxic waste component to it.
Okay.
If
And-
you look at it, it adds, for definition A sub I, it adds a definition for hazardous waste. It then adds a definition for vandalizing a neighborhood trash center. It makes it unlawful. Actually, it's a prohibited act. And what else? And states the procedures under which the penalties will be imposed.
Through the chair.
Yes, Commissioner.
Rob, do we have a company that we're gonna partner up with that's gonna handle this whenever we find an issue?
You mean for cleaning toxic waste?
Yeah, like if our ordinance or code enforcement guy finds that this dumping or something's happened or it's illegal dumping or whatever the hazmat is, that's not anything that anybody here is qualified to handle.
No, the dumping, if it's dumping on public property, we do have ongoing contracts with other entities. I don't know that we have a specific one for a hazmat at this point, but that's something that, you know, we could arrange to have that done within a couple of days if necessary. But for dumping on private property, that would be actionable still, but that would be the obligation of the homeowner at that point or the property owner. Dumping on swales would similarly be, although it's public property, it would be the obligation of the homeowner at that point or the property owner.
So I would just recommend that you guys look into that. I mean, I had a hazmat this morning, and when it gets out of hand, you know, usually the fire department will show up, but if it's severe enough,
Yeah.
they pass it on to a company that bills whoever
We might have
the culprit
somebody.
is.
Yeah, I don't know that we do. I've never heard of that here, but that's something I could look into tomorrow. The person who would probably know more about that would be Robert. He tends to handle those things, and he's left already. But you know, I'll definitely look into that. But if not, yeah, that's a good. Yeah,
I can help you with that if you want.
Okay, yeah, that's an excellent suggestion. If you got a couple, just pass them to me by email.
Okay.
Through here.
Thank you. That I yield.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Ralph, what worried me the most right here is, I don't know if my fellow commissioners are having the same situation. My phone is being blown off, lately with the issue with the garbage around the city.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe we're adding wood to the fire with this resolution.
I think those things are completely unrelated, because the garbage would essentially be the problem with the garbage. It goes back to, it's not really a city issue in the sense that it's not the city's fault. What happened, and it's not your fault, not the administration's fault. It's really nobody's, except maybe quite possibly 2 commissions ago, 2 or 3 commissions ago, where the mayor proposed moving the city back to the county, and that commission shot it down.
All right.
Since then, with various commissions, the administration has attempted to resolve this problem, and has most recently obtained the consent to engage in negotiations with the county, with the view of going back to the county. Now, understand, we were originally with the county. The upshot of that is that the county provides the gold standard for waste hauling in Miami-Dade County. Whoever its competitors are, they may be as good, but they're not better than the county. The county is large enough so that if one truck breaks down, or 5 guys are out sick with COVID, they can draw from other areas and fill the void. Our problem now with Waste Pro is that they service the city with 2 trucks, and they're old trucks. So if one truck breaks, they're down by 50%. I don't know what the crew is for one of their trucks. We figured it might be 3 people. All of a sudden, if 2 guys are ill, then all you've got is a driver for that truck. Or you may not have a driver, you may simply have one of the haulers in the back. So that's a problem we've been having with the Waste Pro. And it's a problem we've attempted to resolve with them year after year, and to no avail, which is why the mayor has always wanted to go back to the county. At present, that contract is with the county for their review. I do not know why it's taken so long. It was submitted to them, I believe, in November, and it's still in their legal department for review. It's, I believe, maybe a 5-page contract. I can't believe it's taken this long, but that's where we are at this point. Once we get it with the county, then at that point, it'll be brought back to the commission for their decisions, or for your decisions, to whether you want to take the final step to go with the county.
Okay,
Through the chair.
yes.
Ralph, we already have an ordinance on this, right? This is basically putting a lot more teeth on it. correct?
This essentially takes our, let's see exactly what it's called.
Can I answer a portion of that, if you
Please,
don't mind?
go right ahead.
So when we worked on this, one of the things that we looked at was that Medley has this problem. So we kind of looked at Medley's ordinance and tailored ours to it. What we did differently here is we defined, which we didn't have a definition for it. We defined industrial waste and hazardous waste. So now there isn't an issue as to what it is and what it's not. And to the prohibited acts, we added section 7, which is the dumping section of it. And we also included not just property owners, but occupants, so tenants. So now we can come after both, you know. So if a tenant basically does the dumping and then says, oh, well, you know, I'm gone, forget it, you know, and then we didn't have the owner, now we got the owner as well. So somebody's got to take care of this, somebody's got to be liable for it. Then the penalty phase, we tailored it to our code enforcement procedure. So that's really, in a nutshell, those 4 items, that's how we made it look like medleys, and now I think we're covered on all angles.
Yeah, but it's still Ralph was, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so basically the penalty is still the same. I don't see the penalties here.
The penalties go, so the penalties refer to keep everything consistent, they go into our code enforcement procedures. It just refers
So like I said, this is
the
basically
daily
to
fines
put-
of code enforcement and that sort of thing.
So like I said, this is basically to put a little bit more wording teeth on it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is now, there's a penalty. You
there's-
can't just dump.
So there was nothing before.
No, because we didn't have it, it wasn't one of the prohibited acts.
Wow. Okay, I yield from that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and listen, in defense of Ralph has been on me for a long time to get this done.
Go ahead.
No, it's
Do I hear a motion?
It's all right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I put a motion to move, pass this item.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Saul Diaz, second by Commissioner Jose Marti. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Reyes,
Yes, it's a yes for me.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Saul Diaz,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Holt Alonso.
Yes.
Okay, passes on first reading.
Okay, number 10, an ordinance of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 51, civil penalty for the possession of cannabis or paraphernalia to add penalties, enforcement and due process, and to provide for an effective date of ordinance and effective date for the approved amendment. First reading, Mayor Lopez.
Okay, this ordinance essentially creates a system whereby, let me start from the top. As I informed each of you this morning, the cannabis is no longer really being prosecuted. Possession of user quantities of cannabis is no longer being prosecuted in Dade County. I believe statewide also, but certainly in Dade County. And that's a result of changing views towards its legalization, the difficulty of possessing, of involving medical marijuana, which is actually legal, and also the difficulty of distinguishing between marijuana and marijuana and hemp, which is legal, but it is, it looks very similar to regular cannabis. So what this does is it creates a system, an alternate system for criminal enforcement, where we impose our own penalties, and although we're authorized to do that already, this also sets a mechanism whereby those civil penalties are tried here in this chambers by a mechanism similar to our code enforcement hearing officer or our red light camera officer. And by trying them internally in the city, we essentially are able to recoup to the city a sizable portion of the fine. Were it tried by the county, then I believe the county would recoup the entire amount of the fine.
I like that. I would, through chair? I like that. Very nice.
Yeah, there's actually no downside to doing this.
Yeah, I mean, this is all,
And it enables us as a city to regulate something that is at this point, viewed by a good portion of society as being acceptable, but still viewed by a good portion of society as being objectionable. So we can regulate where and how it's used and so forth.
so everything stays in the house.
Yeah, Commissioner Diaz, you were here for that code enforcement
Yes.
hearing. It would be a similar process just like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I like
And
that.
we also included enforcement provisions.
Yes. Okay, anybody have anything? I will move this item.
Through the chair.
Oh, I'm sorry, I reject that. Go ahead.
I like the way he takes over. Yes?
Chief, can I ask you a question? Sure. So how many of these are we getting? Like, how many of these are your guys prosecuting or finding on the road? Is this a lot? Is there a lot of?
It's a lot. We get a lot of complaints for marijuana usage. Here's the challenge with this. The challenge with this, and we've been working on this ordinance for quite a while now. The state has taken a position that they're not going to prosecute cannabis, whether it's a gram or 10 pounds or 100 pounds. it's just not there. The intent of this was to make sure that there was a process to where we could hold people accountable and recover our costs. We currently, for any arrest that we do, are doing what's called cost recovery. So there's a mechanism in place to recover costs for an arrest. In other words, if I have an officer for 5 hours working a case, taking a guy to jail, I'm going to include a cost recovery form there, and that person that went to jail, the judge should grant us the ability to recover the money from the person. That's part of their condition of release or whatever the case may be. The intent of this was, since they're not prosecuting it, it is a nuisance here, and it is a substantial amount of complaints. It gives us the ability to address it in a manner where we control it and we can get our costs back.
Okay. And then I had a question for the attorney. Is this legal for us to do this if the state's not, if the state's getting away from this in the county, is it legal for us to create our own court and do this?
And I copied the city of Miami, so.
So you got this from the city?
Yeah.
So Miami's doing the same
Miami's
thing?
doing a very similar process.
Yeah.
I mean, we changed up the fines a little bit, but as far as the process, the penalty, the enforcement, it's basically the same.
Yeah, we took the template from the city of Miami.
Okay, so we're not trailblazers on this.
No.
I just don't want this
but-
to come back later and say, this was totally unconstitutional, you can't do it, and then we owe somebody.
No, we're taking baby steps with this as well. I mean, this is something we've been working on for quite a while. As a matter of fact, I tried to bring this to here even before Ray was here, and we just got a lot of pushback and a lot of turmoil. But nonetheless, we're here now, and we have it in place. It's not something that we're reinventing the wheel. We took a template, we're putting it in place to have as an additional tool in our toolbox to address the issues.
Okay, and we're gonna handle this through code compliance. Somebody.
This is going to be a police matter.
But,
it's gonna be
but when
handled
they
through
come
police.
here to appeal the fines, because everybody's gonna show up to appeal the fine.
You're gonna have. We're looking at using the same process as we do for the red light cameras, using a special master to address the cases.
And
that's
what's our
what-
cost for that?
I don't know the exact cost per hour for the magistrate. I don't remember. Ralph, do you remember? 150 an hour.
So financially we're gonna be okay, even if we have to incur that expense.
We're gonna merge it with the same red light camera hearing process. So we're gonna probably not incur much money as far as additional costs for the special master.
Okay, thank you. With that, I yield.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
My motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Saul Diaz. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Commissioner Reynaldo Rey. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Saul Diaz.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese,
Yes.
President Holt Alonso.
Yes.
Okay, it passes on first reading.
Okay, 11, a resolution of Sweetwater City Commission authorizing the expenditure for an upgrade to the pump station control panel and provide for an effective date. Mayor Loba, Public Works Director.
Good job, guys.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is a request to upgrade 2 of our pump stations, and each pump station has 2 pumps, 2 panels at each station. To upgrade.
Okay, that's a motion.
I got a question. This is gonna be, just to
Sorry.
clarify, this is on their east side.
That is correct.
Okay, that's on the other side.
That's correct.
Okay, there's a motion by Commissioner Jose Marti,
Hey.
second by Commissioner Reynaldo Rey. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ray,
Yes.
Commissioner Saul Diaz.
Yes, I have a question. Is this money coming from drainage?
It doesn't come from stormwater, no. The funds aren't there for that. These are funds that are coming out of reserves.
Okay.
And it's on the paper. It's about $124,000.
Yeah, I was looking here. Well, it's coming from reserves.
Yeah, and yes, and the other option would be to add an additional drain and panel, and there you're looking at upwards of $1 million. So this is,
Yes.
we'll stay way ahead of the game with this increase in power and additional 2,400 gallons per minute and it will resolve the problem.
Thank you, Holly.
Commissioner Reese,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
President Holt Alonso.
Yes.
Passes.
Number 13, a resolution of the mayor and the Sweetwater City Commission authorizing the purchase of certain parking meter machines providing for authorization, providing for effective date, Mayor Lopez, Public Works Director.
This is authorization. You should buy two. Let me flip over here. 2 parking meter machines that are to be used in the northwest 14th Street area on the north side, essentially to control commercial parking.
Do I hear a motion?
Through the chair.
Yes. Yes.
Alan, I just had a question real quick about this.
Yes, sir.
I know we had purchased, I spoke earlier with someone about this, but I know we had purchased 2 parking meters for Southwest 7. One parking meter? Okay, I'm sorry. So we bought that already?
We have.
And we just haven't found the location for it?
We're waiting for some problem
Okay, but-
between the building department and.
Okay, this is for a new section.
Yes.
Sounds good. That I yield.
Okay, do I hear a motion? Motion by
Sure.
Commissioner Saul Diaz. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jose Martin. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Saul Diaz?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Ray?
Yes.
President Holt Alonso?
Yes.
Okay, it
Adjourned, all in
passes.
favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, go home, people.
Thank you, commissioners. Have a good evening.
You too. Good meeting, very good meeting.